Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host Starke, and this is the Evan Studios Divine Podcast, episode 4. Actually, I think it's episode 3, but yeah. Last week we were supposed to have an interview with Yummy Tiger from Yummy Tiger Gaming. Sorry, 2 weeks ago. But unfortunately, 2 weeks ago he had a few personal issues that he had to attend. Family issues, and then last week he had some personal issues that he had to attend. So this week I am kind of like showing up for him. We had to delay it 2 times, but hopefully next week the third time is the charm, and we get to interview Yummy Tiger. I could probably just move down on the list of developers, but as I explained on the first episode, sometimes it's really hard to get some devs in here, so you have to like schedule very I'm gonna say not very fluid schedules, so you have to make it work somehow, and finding someone to just fill in for someone that misses, it's a little harder than it may seem. But I'm here. Eventually we will have to do this interview anyway, so and who better to do this interview than a long personal friend of mine, the first person that I interviewed for the Evan Studios Divine Podcast before it was even called that, Mr. Edwin from Fleeting Arts. How are you doing, bro? And for whatever reason, I can't hear him.
Because you haven't been talking to me.
There you go. How are you, Edwin? I thought you were hearing me. Were you not listening to me this whole time that I've been talking?
No, it's been silent this whole time.
It's weird. Probably when I killed my mic on OBS, it killed my mic everywhere. That's kind of weird. Wait, that also might mean that no. Have I not been saying anything to the podcast at all until just now? Well, that's a risk we're gonna have to deal with. How you doing, bro?
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
We'll do it live, yes.
Yeah.
Well, finally we go to this interview where people actually get to interview me. I hope no one says something crazy in the chat. But yeah, here I am filling in for Yummy Tiger, and hopefully this goes well, because I had zero prep. I didn't have a list of questions that I was told I was going to be asked, so everything is going as usual. It's going to go off the rip.
Yeah, so context, this was arranged within like 2 days. Literally like yesterday, I started writing any questions down, and I was in the middle of my day job at the time.
And then he just shoved it on ChatGPT and said, "Dude, just make like 15 questions for this asshole."
I didn't even go to ChatGPT. I was like, all over the place trying to make up stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's just get into it.
Before you start asking me questions, I have one question for you. What was your method to make the questions? Was it something that you wanted to ask me personally? Was it something that you thought like the community will like to find out more about? Something that will be helpful for devs to hear about? What was your go-to when creating these questions?
I mean, we've talked fairly often, and like a lot of these questions I probably know the answer to.
Yes. So
it's more like what other devs want to know, or people in your community might want to know. Because I kind of know a lot of it. I know the origin story. I know how such and such went. I know how this went. But not everyone knows that, and this is really more of an opportunity for you to tell them, because they don't know.
All right. So before we get into it, just a small warning. Portugal has been going through basically a combo of storms. Portugal is completely being ravaged by nature right now. It has been for the past week, and so if for whatever reason the podcast ends abruptly, which it shouldn't, but in case it does, or in case the voices start failing, it's probably my internet just acting up. So I'm sorry if that happens. Let's hope it doesn't, but it is what it is. All right, I'm ready, sir.
Okay. Announcement over. Um, so you've had a couple of these now, and you've talked about various things in each one, both just talking to devs as well as asking them questions. You're sort of answering the same question in some ways.
Yes.
So you had one of the most common things you ask is how people started in things, and I think the last one, you were talking about UMLF and starting your own sort of cabal. Do you want to talk about the early days of getting together with people and kind of forming a small community that just enjoyed playing these types of games?
I guess I think the origin story is important for an interview like this, simply for the reason that there's a lot of people that might have decided they want to make a game eventually, and never knew how to start. And I think the origin story from other devs might be, the kick that is, that will get someone to actually work on their own game. Or some people are in way better positions to become a dev than other people that actually did. And once they hear like these crazy stories from devs that apparently started from absolutely nothing, they might be incentived to actually work on their own stuff. For me, it was a friend that was working on an entire game, and he asked me to do some coding for it and create some walkthroughs and whatnot. Because at the time I used to create walkthroughs for online games that I used to play. I used to be an active contributor in GameFAQs because I had way more time than I have nowadays. And I was a lot younger, so my perception of time was also a lot better in some ways. And so I joined ULMF, which is where he was pretty much sharing his game initially. I met a lot of cool people, but I think that the moderation and the administration in that place was kind of it was horrible to be honest. And it was pretty much like the Wild West in there, and it's always a problem with free admission websites, because the anonymity makes people do crazy shit online. People are already there's a lot of people that already act very uncivilized in real life. Now imagine that behind a computer where no one knows your face, no one knows where you're from. There's almost literally zero consequences for your actions. So if you want to, be the biggest asshole on the world, you just get to do that. And for me, that was, that was not the place that I wanted to be part of. So I decided I'm gonna create my own. My personal experience at the time, and I think it's true to this day, is something is free and free admission, and there's no consequences for what you do. It always is going to bring the worst out of people. If it's a free game, if it's a free forum, if whatever it is. Sometimes you see great things happen, but often you also see all sorts of bad shit happens, especially if the moderation is bad. In games, you will see a lot of hackers, a lot of cheaters show up. They stink up the game. You ban them, they get a new account. You ban them, they get a new account. They don't care. Delta Force right now is an example of that. Everybody's playing Arc Raiders, and everybody was excited for Delta Force, but that place is like reading with cheaters. And every game that I played that was like free to play, like Guns the Duel or whatever it was, every time I joined the game, like Free Fire or whatever it was, the games were amazing. But if they were free, eventually there will be a crowd that will completely stink up the place. And my perspective at the time was, I know how to. Yeah, ULMF was the place that was getting stunk, and and I thought, no, okay, I want this, but with rules, with people that actually treat others with respect, a safe place for you to talk about this thing that is already so taboo, so people already give you a lot of shit for liking these sort of topics. If you don't feel welcomed in a place like this, it's already bad for the team itself. If the place is even worse, eventually you won't feel like even coming here or whatever. And after a few of my friends that I made at the forum went like, I'm not going there again. That place is pretty much a junkyard. I don't want to go back there. People are stupid, whatever it is. People were angry at the time. I was like, what about if I make our own place? And the way for you to get in is you got to be recommended by someone already in the community. And if you get banned, you don't get another. You don't get to come back, right? And that was our initial our initial idea. So eventually, people started approaching us, and they were like, "Okay, I want to join, but I don't know anyone." And I'm like, "Okay, just befriend someone on ULMF or whatever, and eventually someone is going to invite you if you're a nice guy." And it's like, "But I want to join now. How do I do that?" And now we're like, "Okay, let me. How do we create something that is kind of like, if we make it like $1, everybody's going to spend $1, stink up the place, and come back and spend another $1." And we were like, listen, we need to pay the servers. If you pay $50, you can go in. We give you an account. That, or you can find just about anyone to vouch for you. Anyone. Any single member. There's 200 members on the forum. Get a single person to vouch for you, and you get in for free. That's the two choices. And people were coming in with the money. There's a lot of people that are still in the community, not right now, that back then used to pay the money to join the community. And obviously there were incentives to join the community because it was not only was a safe place to discuss hentai, but you will also get to speak with a lot of translators. You will get to play games with a lot of translations that people pay a lot of money for, the translations nowadays. Obviously there's a lot of people doing it for free, but there's literally companies such as Starke Studios and Kagura Games and whatnot making millions out of translating other people's games. And that was it. We just wanted to create a safe place where people could discuss hentai and talk about the games that we used to play and whatnot, without people coming in and stinking up the place. And we wanted, decent devs. And some of the devs that we had way back then in like 2012 for that forum are still the devs that we have today in Discord. So I actually think that we were capable of creating like an amazing community. And from loving games and discussing games to creating my own game, it was just a small stretch. It was just me editing games to eventually making my own translation to eventually making my own game. That was kind of like the steps. But I guess the key moment was indeed just joining a community. So yeah, that's pretty much how this community started and how Evan City started as a consequence of it.
I think the last game you worked on before you decided I'm just gonna make my own game was what 2H.
Yeah, it was. That was the translation, and then I did something that I probably should have asked the developer permission to do. It wasn't mad, but now looking back at it, even though I never got like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now I know that it's completely frowned upon. Which was his game was nice, but it was kind of short. So I started adding my own maps and creating my own bits of story, and I kind of like made like an expansion of it. And yeah, I was already making the translation. Then I increased the game. I created a lot of maps and whatnot. So yeah, people that rip off the maps in that game on the translated version, you're actually ripping me off, bro. I know what you're doing, and I know who you guys are.
And yeah, I'm just gonna ask for everyone who's wondering. Hey yo, where that link at for that 2H?
Oh my god, Jesus! People ask me that so many times throughout the years. As a dev, I just can't.
Give me some of that. Give me some of that.
Yeah, give me some of that. As a dev nowadays, I can't go and share other people's games for obvious reasons. But maybe I'll share the data folder and people can can apply it on the game if they get it. But yeah, the Tuechi translation going around the internet, that was made by me. And I gotta give credit to Platinus who helped me a lot on some of the sentences that I just didn't understand.
Yes, Platinus, the unsung hero. And I don't think many people knew this. At one point in your Patreon's history, you actually offered access to that forum you were talking about.
Right. Yeah, that was also another thing that you used to get on Patreon for $10. Actually, they stopped us from doing that, but because that forum was associated with making translations. Nowadays they don't have problem with it because there's obviously a lot of people doing translations for a lot of games and creating patrons for that. I mean, Kagura Games pretty much started like that. But yeah,
Hmm.
we were like, listen, uh, most people stop playing the $50. They will just get in through Patreon. You only have to pay like $10, and you will be able to go in through Patreon and get the patches for our games and get all the games that we had translated in the forum and whatnot. It was a great deal actually. If I was someone that was a fan of hentai games and I wasn't the dev, I will probably I'll take that. I take that deal.
Hey, I took the deal, so you know, uh, I knew a good deal when I saw one, and
It was a
I
good
think he
deal.
put out a Patreon post like, "Hey, we were a little late. If someone wants to join, he just contact me." I hopped on that right away, and I think anyone who didn't at that time was a fool because there were some great people in that forum.
It was the forum was pretty great. I'm sad that a lot of people didn't transition from that forum to the communities that we had afterwards, leading to Discord.
But so you went from the forum making your own games, and then I believe from there you went ahead and you wanted to make your own, but you could not do art, could you?
No, I mean, I can draw, but you're not gonna like my drawings. First of all, my games will be released
Hmm.
like
Little stick figure.
no. I can actually draw. That's the funny part. But the thing is, I learned how to draw like actual people, not like anti. It's completely different art style, and I'm not very good at coloring, and I take a long time to draw. So I did think about it, but I was like, listen, if I'm the artist and making everything else, I will never be able to deliver a game. Let alone a game like Fleeting Gardens. That will be impossible. So yeah, I eventually met Muku, who messaged me on that forum, and he said, "Hey man, I'm a new artist, and I want to embark on that journey with you." And that's kind of how it started. And then we got Isaac to do the programming, so I could focus on the stories and the enticings and the mapping and the asset creation and the music creation and pretty much everything else. So I already knew Isaac in real life. He does most of the eventing, and Muku does the art. Well, obviously now we have more teams, but those were the initial three. Tiger Lila joined us not
Right.
very long after, maybe like 6 or 7 months, if I recall correctly.
Hmm. And you know, when you started things, I don't think you were really quite prepared for the uh, business aspect of it all, because you went in really like it's a partnership. We're gonna make this thing together, not realizing like, oh, it's also a business. I need a bit of structure here.
I still hate that part.
Yeah, that is one thing that I don't think any indie devs really prepared for. Just like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to manage finances. I'm gonna have to give directives to people that really are just my friends. Um, and kind of how have you found dealing with that sort of thing?
It's sometimes it's a little bit unfair because you don't wanna like give your friends a hard time, but I think that if you honestly, I'm gonna just say it as it is. For me personally, from the experiences that I've heard, but not necessarily the experiences that I have experienced myself, I will have to advise you to never go to business with your friends. It's
Hmm.
it's 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 just unfair in many ways. Um, Luckily, Isaac and Muku are my friends for a reason,
Hmm.
and I think that it's always bad. The reason why I went with Kagure Games was because one, I was friends with Rakushin. Two, Rakushin made me promise that I will, release my game through them. And three, because again, I loaded the business aspect of the game creation. I'm a creator. My focus is on creativity. I am not a board director that doesn't know a lot about his product and he only wants the outcome of said product. I'm not in this for the money. Like, if this was a world where, like the world that Elon envisions, where nobody has to work, they only work if they want, I will still be doing this because I love doing this. I'm passionate about doing this. If funds were not a problem, were not an issue, I will still be doing this. I'm not doing this to become rich. Obviously, part of why I do this is to pay the bills because that's a necessity. But I just want to focus on the creative part. And working with Isaac and Muku, it was good because with Isaac, I just let him know. But he's a really hard working person. And I would say that in like 95% of the times, it's just easy to to boss him around. I'm gonna use the negative connotation of it, but it's I really just tell Isaac, okay, you need to do this, you're late on this or whatever it is, and Isaac just does it. Sometimes he debates it like, I think this will be better if we do it this way or this other way or whatever. But in most of the time, I will just tell him how it is, and it just does it. So there's really no friction there. When it comes to the CG team, obviously, since it's the thing that causes the most delays, but there's kind of like it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because on one hand they do amazing work, right? And amazing work requires time to be worked on. And on the other hand, you need to be kind of like juggling with, is this acceptable amount of time to create this scene, or are they like slowing down at this point? And then you have to keep your team motivated. And obviously, if the way you keep people that you don't know motivated is you get to keep your paycheck, you get to keep your job, or there's a prize at the end of the road. Like if you do this at the end of the year, and there's you can get a premium for doing your job just nice and always delivering on schedule and whatnot, and you can get monetary prizes. That's kind of like how you motivate
right.
A regular employee. But as a friend, it's hard to go like, hey bro, so I don't know how to say this, but if you're too lazy, I might have to fire you. That's not the type of conversation you want to have with friends. So right from the get-go, I will probably just tell you, do not hire friends. But I will also tell you this, real good help, people that are easy to work with, plus very competent at what they do, is incredibly hard to find. And that's one of the reasons why I hate when people try to poach members of my team. That will literally probably ruin whatever level of relationship I have with other people. And this has happened before. Obviously, the members. The members of my team have came to me.
People that do scripting and.
Yeah, well, there's people that outsource work, right? And there's people that are working on little paychecks. If people are doing, if they outsource work, obviously they are not working for me exclusively. If you want to order work, I mean, more power to you. I actually recommend my friends, those guys to people. But people that are working to me on a paycheck and are working to me on a contract, and people try to poach them, I don't take that lightly.
Right. Well, even with the contract work, like you might be contracting them for one thing, but you kind of need that in a timely manner, but then you tell someone about them and then they give them like 15 things to do and maybe want to pay them more. So then your stuff gets pushed to the wayside. So it can be tough to manage that sort of relationship.
It is. I mean, especially if you already feel like your work is already being set aside as a non-priority, and then something else comes on the table. I mean, if you can deliver the work that you committed to for me, and you're able to also work on something else, by all means. But if I'm paying you to deliver a certain amount of work, and you are failing because you're also working for someone else, then obviously we have a problem. So, and then we have to make a decision: do you want to work for them, work for me, or do I have to work? Do I have to look for someone else to hire?
And you spoke about motivation somewhere in there. At a normal game company, you your motivation is probably your big bonus at the end of release time.
Yeah,
Um,
it's probably
but
a really good one.
you know, working for an indie company with Patreon, if things were going really well, you know, you might have a bonus at the end of the month based on the Patreon numbers, but it's a little tougher to find that sort of
Yes and no.
financial motivation.
Yes and no. Yes, on Patreon right now it's being kind of rough. But for instance, when we sold the game on Steam, when you sell the game on Steam and you actually make good money, you usually make most of your money on the first 3 months. Obviously the first month is the big bucks. The second month you receive like half of that. On the third month you receive kind of like half of that, and then it kind of like goes lower and lower and lower. But the first month you make a lot of money.
Depending on your overall development time.
Well, yeah, but I have to say I have to say that 50% of our profit on Steam, all of it goes to our employees. So they got a big motivational bonus as soon as Fleeting Guards was released on Steam, like big motivational bonus.
Right.
Probably like
it's all paid off.
No, like 10, like they probably made more in like 1 month than they will make in like 2 years.
Well, no, I'm saying they might have realized like, holy shit, this paid off a lot more than I thought it was going to.
You know what the thing that I question is, and the way I try to motivate them, it's like, so this money comes every time we finish a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually my motivation. Like, we need to finish games. We need to finish games so you guys can make a lot of money. Like, I want to keep you guys motivated. Yeah, well, you can do that. That works.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, if people want to do that, I'm fine. Just don't count on me for it. You know, I think making slop, it's good to pay bills. But if I just want to pay bills, I'll probably just go back to doing what I was doing before making hentai games. I was making a lot of money and very little responsibility. But slop will definitely get you there. Slop will definitely get you money.
So you were talking about the artists, and you know, I gotta ask, whose art do you prefer? Heaven Studios East or West?
No, you're fucking with me right now.
Gonna stir up some trouble here.
You're fucking with me right now. You gotta be fucking with me. That's kind of like asking which of your friends you prefer, which of your kids you prefer the most. Like,
oh yeah.
I have to say, like, obviously, I have a deeper connection with the guys of Evan Studios East, and obviously Muko and Tiger Lila. Even their art, I think that it changed a lot because of my input on it. You know, the art that was what started Fleeting Iris is not the art that they're doing now. It's lots of years of experience, and you know, obviously there's a lot of input from me in there. And I'm a lot harder on them than I am on Scarlet, for instance, because again, Scarlet, I'm just outsourcing art. There's a lot of things that I love about Scarlet's art. There's a few things that I don't like as much, but again, I don't want to annoy her too much because she's not under a paycheck. I'm not her boss. I'm just hiring a little bit of outsourced art. I do love Scarlet's style. I hired her for a reason, so to speak. But you know, obviously there's the connection. I cannot just go. I'm not judging in a vacuum. I know the other team for years. I grew with them. I love their art from day one. I also love Scarlet's art, but it's kind of like asking if you will choose between your firstborn or the other kid that is doing really well, but you know, he's not your firstborn. You didn't get to leave all these things with him. I think Scarlet is an amazing professional. I love her art, but it's really different art because one is like the typical Japanese Oriental style art, and the other is kind of like the Western American Dad cartoonish art. So I love both. I just think they're like so different, which it's kind of like comparing burgers with sodas. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're going in your belly, but they don't actually, you know, they're not quite the same thing. I love them both, but for different reasons.
And I think with Scarlet, you said to me, I don't even remember. I think you might have said it to community, but I'm not sure. That you actually felt like her art has kind of gotten an injustice in the games because she often gets commissioned, but then the games don't get finished.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Obviously, like I pay her, and obviously Scarlett charges a very substantial amount. She knows how much she's worth, and then I also have to pay for the animation. So each scene can cost each scene that you guys see on Journey Abroad can cost up to like four figures. Um, and obviously, again, that's a double-edged sword because you will associate unfinished games to her art. You will associate bad games to her art, and we've seen this happen on the outside with Circle Kami or Turtle Circle or what people like to call it, where there was this over exposition of the art style, and some of it was associated to so many bad games that people saw the art as like a red flag on games. Thankfully, I feel like there's a few people that commission Scarlet's art that are actually doing a good job, like Siren and whatnot. I hope I do Scarlet's art justice with Journey Abroad. I am super proud of our first batch. I can't wait to release our second one. And yeah, man, I hope our game brings visibility to her art, and then eventually vice versa. And she is lucky enough because obviously money is money, and she's going to accept commissions from just about anyone. But I hope that fate puts her on the path to collaborate with successful game makers and people that actually create good games, so that you can associate her art with quality content. You know.
And I think it's also important for anyone who doesn't know to realize that Scarlet does make doujinshi manga.
Mm-hmm.
She makes comics.
I think most of it is
well.
free.
So there's stuff out there, and they are big tittied milfs. So
Yeah,
if
90% of the times, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not her stuff isn't for everyone, but if it's your thing, yeah, by all means go look at that, look it up, see
Yeah,
what's
for
in
sure.
store. Now we were talking about finances, and for your game, when you released it, you did it through a producer, or probably using the wrong word,
On Steam, yeah, publisher.
publisher. I'm sorry. So you did it through a publisher, and the reason you did that was, to me, you told this that you wanted to reach as many people as possible, and part of that was pricing it at a point that you felt that most people could gain access to it. Was there any sort of things that you had a good relation with that company going into it? Was there anything that you kind of found distasteful about it? Was there any problems you might have had?
Yeah, I'm gonna come clean. I'm gonna try and answer this question because the way you asked the question, there's like four different answers for four different things that he said.
Yeah.
So let me try and follow first of all, we released the game on Steam through a publisher. We obviously on Patreon we're kind of releasing the game ourselves. First, we released through a publisher because, again, I knew Rakshan and I promised them that I would release the game through them. Even though at the time, Kagura Games was not very known. In fact, at the time, he had like 2 games. And that was the promise that we made. Obviously, by the time that we came to release the game, we were approached by quite a few publishers. Some of them very well known in the entire world. Some of them call me in real life to try and get the deal done and whatnot. But I'm a man of my word, and there's this thing. Shit, this is gonna be. I didn't want to do this, but this is gonna be a big story. There's this movie by Nicolas Cage where he's talking with this waitress, and he says that he doesn't have a tip for her, but he has this lottery number, and if he wins the lottery, he's gonna give her half. And he wins the lottery, and he has to give her half. Now, he could go to her and try to be like, hey, I don't think it's fair that I give you this much amount of money. Like, I can give you like 500,000, but giving you like 2 million or 3 million or whatever it is, don't you think it's a little unfair that I made this binding to you, and now I have to pay you this money? Like, but then it starts sounding like coercion. So it needs to come from the person. The person can be like, here's your 2 million, I actually won. And this person goes like, I cannot accept this, but I will gladly take 100,000. And you still kept to your word, right? Knowing what I know today, I wouldn't have signed as easily with Kagure Games, because at the end of the day, I didn't end up working with Rakshan. Rakshan was already at a point where he was barely working at all. He was basically just doing CEO work, and he at the time he was doing very little work. And as far as I know, nowadays he just collects. He does zero work. He has someone in front of a company. He has someone in front of the company.
So
which is
you got into it. I'm signing with my friend, and ended up with I'm now working with some no name.
No, now I'm working with like some corporate stooge that my friend assigned to me. That's how I felt. But the problem is, my morals are my morals, and if I start taking adjustments here or there, they are no longer worth shit. Like, and then my word isn't worth shit. And morals are just that. Morals are what you do when it's hard. When it's easy, it's not called morals. It's just shit you do. You know your morals are in the correct place when it's hard for you to stick with them. And I was offered far better deals with far better promises than Kagure Games offered me. I still went with Kagure Games because at the end of the day, it was my friend's company, and I do feel like I was a little bit unfairly. I was treated a little bit unfairly. He shoved me through some translator that took like 3 years to translate the game, and this is the part that massively annoyed me. Apparently, the part that was taking so long was to create the game in a way that, oh wait, there's a safe for work version from the game. And what they did for safe for work was they removed 95% of the game, and they just made the true ending available. And the game has no story. It's chaotic. It makes no sense. And then you apply the patch, and the game is there, and the translation is there. So basically, I understand that Fleeting Aries is big, but it took someone working 8 hours a day, because they were being paid by Rakshan to translate the game. It took someone 3 years to translate the game. I know the game is big, but we took 8 years to make it, and that means drawing, making the musics, making the events, making the scripts, everything that went into the game took 8 years. You took 3 years to translate it. Obviously, I felt a little bit insulted and unfairly treated by Kagure Games. But I will still do what I did after I already said that I was going to do it with my friend. Because, again, I have one word. And every time I make a promise, I try to keep to my promise. And if I fail, I have to explain why it failed. It was not because I decided it will fail, or because at some point I decided it's not worth anymore to keep my promise. I made the goal.
Ultimately, despite all that, did you find that you got the outreach you were hoping?
So that's the part that I say there's good things and bad things about it. I do feel like I got the outreach that I wanted, especially because first I got a really good deal financially, even though I feel like we lost a lot of momentum by how long it took to make the translation. But we did get an amazing outreach, especially abroad in China and whatnot. So that was part of what was worth. Second, I got a really good deal, but for instance, Psyche did a much better job at making the game affordable for everyone. Because again, I feel like Fleeting Hours is the type of game that with the work that is there, especially when I make the remake out of it, it's a game that is definitely worth the $70 if you are going to judge it by everything else it is on the market. Okay, but that's not what I wanted for Fleeting Hours. I wanted something that everybody could afford eventually. And there's countries like Brazil and whatnot that Fleeting Hours cost like $1.50, right? So what I did was, at the time with the aid of AI, I was like, listen, how should I price these games on these countries based on this and this metrics, and we got an amazing list that was.
This was once you were with Psyche.
This was with Psyche, yes, and
Okay.
basically we got a list that calculated for inflation, power of the coin, just general market metrics and whatnot. And when you go and buy Fleeting Hours, depending on the world on the Renpai version, depending on where you are in the world, you can pay as little as like 30 cents. And Psyche was like yeah, you
No,
were
good,
saying.
good.
And
No.
Psyche was, yeah, don't worry, just give us the prices, we will do that. 100%, we think that's absolutely fair. And if you want to, if you want to lower the prices at certain periods or put it in a pack or whatever it is, let us know. We will do that as well. Just warn us like a month in advance. So basically, the companies that we work at, Psyche and the other one, it's also similar. I don't remember the name. It's kind of like Sekai Studios, I think. They both did that, and it was amazing. And I appreciate them so much for doing that and making the game available to the most amount of people, because that's the reason why we create the games, is for people to be able to enjoy it. So that's one of the reasons. So in terms of outreach, yes. In terms of making the game financially available for everyone, I think Kagura did not do as good as a job in that. It treated it like every other game, where sometimes they put it in packs, and that's it. So definitely there were upsides and there were downsides to it. Once we work on Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, we'll see how it is, because we already have people going like, listen, I know you guys gave your first game to Kagura Games, but at least hear our offer when you're done with Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, because we really want to represent you guys, etc., etc. So we'll see when the time comes. We might actually end up representing ourselves, so we'll see.
Yeah, that leads into a later question, but I think Gabe Newell, talking about Steam, he said one of the biggest problems with piracy isn't that necessarily people don't want to purchase the game; it's that often they don't have access to it. So I think, having that foresight to like make it as available as possible really helps with not only sales, but getting your name out there, getting access to it, where otherwise people would just pirate it and walk away.
Well, we
but
lived in the One Piece there back then, right? It was the golden age of piracy, for music, for movies, for games. Everybody used to pirate everything, because it was really hard to actually get your hands on some stuff.
Right. So let's go back. Forget the ending where we ended up starting to sell the game. Let's take it back a moment to your design philosophy when it comes to a game project. It's probably different now than it was when you first started. Do you approach your games from like, okay, I want to make it really fun, or I'm a story first person, or it just needs to have great scenes?
At this point it feels mechanic. When we started working on Fleeting Hours, everything is a guessing game, and we did start Fleeting Hours as kind of like a learning project, but it really is that. It was a lot of things you think you're going to do, you end up not doing because you have no idea what you're doing. But that was Fleeting Hours. We used to like envision the world, and we want to create these stories and these narratives, and we want to deliver this way and that, and obviously, soon enough comes compromises. Soon enough comes time constraints, and all the stuff that says, well, you thought you were going to do that, but here's reality eating you like a bag full of bricks. And that's when you realize you're an indie company and not a AAA company. And a lot of people quit because they go, if I have to compromise, I don't want to do this at all. A lot of people quit because I fell so far behind that now I don't have courage to show my face to people and go back and just apologize. Listen, I wasn't able to work on the game the way I wanted up until now, but here I am. I don't know how to put the expression, but with a naked soul in front of you guys, just it is what it is. And there's a lot of people that quit for all those reasons.
Sort of bearing it all.
And obviously for Fleeting Artists, we were like, listen, this is going to be the goals, and we're going to have these goals. If you guys support us up until this point, we're going to hire more people, and we'll be able to work on this. And if we don't hit those goals, well, it is what it is, and we're going to have to move on to new games. And obviously now that when we were, projecting Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, your ambitions are a little bit more solidified. We're a lot better devs than we were back then, but we don't envision or plan everything or anything that we don't know already how we're going to do it. So when it comes to planning, everything is mechanical. You know how things work regarding maps and story and whatnot, and how long stuff takes to make and whatnot. All of this stuff, you now see it. When you're starting for the first time, you dream of these things. You're like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'd like to have something like this. And now everything that I do, everything that I tell Muku, everything that I tell Isaac, I no longer say, hey man, I need this to do this. I say, in this map, I need this to move like this, and you're going to use the switches in this manner and this script to actually be able to create that thing. And I literally explain to him, this is how it's going to work, not just the final product. I tell him this is how we're going to get there for 95% of the things. And obviously there's 5% of the things that we're like trying to push the envelope in, like, let's try and do something that was never done. Do you think this can be done? And then we discuss things, and more often than not, after a little bit of discussion and a little bit of back and forth, is like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, we can do that. Or sometimes it just goes, I'll figure it out, don't worry. And he figures it out, and I don't have to worry. And when it comes to Muku, when I deliver him scenes, I am no longer like, oh, you know what will be great? A scene that will take like 2 months to create, because you can see the character in like a billion different billion perspectives with 10 different outfits and whatnot. No, nowadays you're more realistic. You know how long stuff takes to make, and you have to be realistic on how much time things take to make. Maybe AI comes and change that. I think AI is an amazing support tool. I don't like anything that is pure AI, nothing at all. But if AI is like kind of like improve the lines or fix the grammar or stuff like that, where you come up with all the story and the AI just gives you a little, okay, let's try and perfect this a little bit. Maybe in the future that's going to shave many important minutes out of work every day, and then you can go for something more ambitious. But definitely, you are a lot more dreamy on your first project, and you are a lot more pragmatic on your future projects.
And how do you go about keeping track of things personally? Like, do you use specialized software? Do you use Word, Excel? Like whether you're keeping track of the story or just keeping track of like the next thing you've got to work on. What's your personal preference for that?
So initially I tried to use programs that are used literally for that. For that, we actually talked about a few of them. We actually purchased a few of them, but I felt like keeping track in those programs is kind of a little bit too restrictive. So honestly, I
Mhm.
started drawing most of my stories in Notepad++. I have a bunch of Notepad++
Mhm.
tabs, all of them for like this story and this and this and this and this, and one of them is like great lines that I saw in a movie or that I thought about, and I just write in there. Or one is like words that I keep forgetting, and I write it there. Another is the story of this game. Another is the
Mhm.
story of this other game, and then I break it down from main story, anti-scenes, antagonists, which scenes you have with these antagonists, and before I do each patch, I look at what needs to be done, and I'm like, okay, let's see where we're going to progress this month. And then obviously there's a lot of things that I have a lot of things saved on a personal channel that I have on Discord. That is like screenshots or things that I think about when I'm obviously there. I don't have access to my notepad. So I can be, I don't know, on a bar or a friend's house or whatever it is, and I write it on Discord, and then I
Mhm.
get home, and then if there's an image or a position or whatever that I like that I've seen or whatever it is, I take a screenshot, I save it in a folder, and then I try to make my own sketch of it, and so I can present to Muku and Tiger Lila. If it's a little bit of story, I write it on Discord. Eventually, I move it to Notepad++ to the respective section. So mostly I use to keep track. I mostly use Notepad++, just basically screenshots of folders full of screenshots, and and Discord. Those are the three things that I use. And then obviously I use a bunch of other programs to work with a lot of other stuff. But just to keep track, I usually use Notepad++. I make a lot of backups, but that's mostly it for keeping track. And then I send it to Isaac. Usually with in this coordinate this happens, in this coordinate this happens, these characters have these types of dialogues, and then this character arrives from coordinate X and then moves to coordinate Y, and that usually Notepad++ is enough to kind of explain how the game is going to develop.
And so, speaking of being out and about, and you get ideas from movies, people, whatever, you've drawn influences from real life figures and other things for some of the characters. How many of the characters would you say you base on like something you've seen in real life, and how many of them are just made up?
Huh. Let me think. Ayame was not based on anyone. Ayame was, for
Mhm.
instance, Ayame was based on a character that we felt will be the most generic ultimate girl next door, where she's both sexy and approachable.
Mhm.
So we wanted to go with like neutral stuff, neutral color of the eyes, neutral height, neutral level. Well, her breasts did grow up a lot during the initial project, and but
As they do.
well, we market research. We asked our supporters what they liked the most, and it kept going up and up and up, and eventually we came to the size that it is right now. And obviously, we had to make a few changes to the oldest scenes because she used to be a little bit more modest when it comes
Mhm.
to her chest area.
Mhm.
But yeah, Ayame was supposed to be this generic, not generic, but kind of like a character that is master of all trades. Sorry, jack of all trades, master of
Master of
none.
none. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. She was supposed to like approachable and sexy, but not a slut. The ultimate girl next door character. And then we had the mature yandere blonde character on Eve and whatnot. Um, but for the other characters, obviously Fujiko being IM's twin went with the same original pattern. But if you guys look, Adriana, there's a character. Let me see if I got her name correctly. There was this supermodel or model at the time. Her name was Melanie Iglesias, and yeah, I used to think that this girl was absolutely gorgeous. Nowadays, I don't have. She's still gorgeous, but there's other things that come off as red flags for me. But I wanted to create a Latina character for Fleeting Artist, and this woman was everything that I considered like peak on a Latina woman. So she was kind of like the muse behind Adriana. And then who else do we have? The
Don't let
Alexandra.
Hunter Biden see her.
Sorry, what? Who?
I said, don't let Hunter Biden see her.
Oh,
The meme that he
yeah,
likes.
Coke and
Latinas.
Latinas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had everything. The big the brown skin, the beautiful abs, the nice breasts and whatnot. She also seemed like the approachable ultimate girl next door without being like super known. I didn't want to pick someone kind of like a Jennifer Lopez or like a Eva Longoria that everyone will instantly recognize. I wanted to get something that, okay, get influence from here, but try to make your own thing. And obviously, she's a lot different from the actual the real life character. Alexandra was, let's think of the biggest bimbo character that we can think of. Blonde ponytails, big blue eyes, big breasts. And yeah, also there was not a lot of influence there. I think in Journey Abroad there's a few characters that might be and at the end of the day they're not even influenced by real characters. There are some characters that are just twists on like anti-dojin tropes, like the tomboyish girl. I can pick you like 5 or 6 mangas that we used as reference. I was like, see this personality from all these mangas. There was this character from Ito Ait, which is a mangaka. Obviously, if you go and look to our gym teacher, you're going to see some similarities. You won't be able to tell. Oh, I can. You won't be able to tell that you can see that one is a reference for the other. But it's kind of like the short style hair with like with the tomboyish look and kind of like aggressive and whatnot. So those end up being references. It's just dojins that I've seen. I think Adriana is the character with the most real life. And I think there's one character in Journey Abroad, one of the cheerleaders that was also based on a random person that I saw on Google, and that's about it. Everything else, I think it's just out of my head or just generic anti-tropes.
Is it Melvin loosely based on someone visually?
Like a real life person? No, it's probably based on like the typical fat guy from I don't actually remember. I think even his name, like Melvin, was from a character. I think his personality was based at the time on someone from a specific movie or whatnot. But it was such a rough reference. Maybe it was from all the Fat Ugly Bastard games that I played that I was like, yeah, we want a character that kind of looks like this and his eyes kind of look like this, probably something like the old Sabaton games, or there's just so much. Huh?
You gotta have a fat ugly bastard.
Yeah, a lot of people ask if it was what was it? What was the game? I don't remember what it says, but some people mentioned like a couple of games, and I was like, brother, that game came out years after we started working on Fleeting Hours, and Melvin was like the first antagonist of the game. So no, I did not use a reference of a game that came out like 3 years after we started working on Fleeting Hours. I think it was it was more of a trope other than being like a specific character. Funny enough, I think most of this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but I think most of his design comes from like an old man from Sesame Street, which obviously is not.
That was my recollection.
Yeah, but it's. I mean,
that you had said it was based on some like children's show.
Yeah,
character.
and he's not even a bad person. It's like, but I used to think like the idea was like this store owner, right? Because I vividly remember the man with like the yellow shirt and the apron, right? And this growing scratcher off a mustache with the stupid ass fucking side parted hair and whatnot. And I was like, bro, like if this character could 100% be used, with the twist, this character could 100% be evil, but it was not. That like the old man was the nicest person. It was a voice actor for a lot of children shows in Portugal that everybody used to love. Super nice person. I just it was just so vividly on my mind from watching Sesame Street as a kid and whatnot that when I thought about a store owner of a bodega, I thought of that, like the yellow shirt with the apron. I mean, I'm sorry, Mister, who was actually a nice influence on my early life, but you ended up being the reference for an evil character on my game. I'm sorry.
Well, if he ever sees this podcast, no.
Oh, I think he's dead.
Nothing
So.
against.
I mean, listen, it was an old man that was a reference on my early life. I am 40. He's dead as fuck.
So you've released 3 free DLCs for Fleeting Iris.
Yeah,
looking
big ones.
back at it, knowing that you were gonna make absolutely nothing on it, would you do it again?
Again, yes, because I made a promise. If I went back
Okay,
at it, I wouldn't have
if you
promised
didn't
it.
even make the promise. If you, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
fuck
see, there
no.
you go.
Fuck no. Fuck no. What? No. We made. Listen, people call it DLCs. Let's call it what they are. They're games. The Shota game is bigger than most of the stuff that comes out of the L site. We spent 2
Hey, you
years
call
on that
it
one.
DLC.
I'm
going
I
by your words.
Yeah, I called it, but because DLC is just downloadable content. There's just this negative connotation that means paying for extra content, right? But at the time that it was what the community wanted, and I was like, yeah, sure, guys, don't worry, I'll do it. And I ended up doing the Halloween stuff. I ended up doing 2 patches for the Halloween. I ended up doing the Christmas patch, which by all means it can be considered done, or we can add to it. We're going to see if we will or not. And obviously there's the Shota patch that is huge. It's a game on its own. It's a game on its own. And we didn't charge anything for it. It's still free on our website. And again, we worked on the new maps. We worked on the music. We worked on massive script. That game is by any means bigger than a lot of the games that are out there. So that's just what Evan Studios is. And if we go down, we will go down being from the people, by the people, to the people, for the people. It was always what it was. And
Come to people.
yeah, dude, it's bringing people to come together. And it was. Our podcasts are not edited. Most of the stuff that we do is based on transparency and like direct contact with our fans. Obviously, when it comes to finances, it hurts us that we don't have a bigger crowd. But it will also hurt us if we were making millions and people were not talking. Because we were like, we have a massive community that doesn't interact with us. But you know what will be even worse than that for me? Will be not be able to reply to people directly every time they ask me a question. Because there are so many people that send me messages on YouTube, on X, on Discord. And I go out of my way to answer to all of them. And if the company was big enough to where you're like a known streamer, where it's just impossible to you to have time to answer to everyone, yes, the money is fine, but not being able to interact directly with my community and let people know that their money is appreciated and that their passion is being seen and that their voice is being heard and that they belong, there will probably be a downside that I don't think any amount of money will make up for. I love being able to interact with our community. I love having enough time to talk with everyone. And if things got out of hand and we got like, I don't know, 80,000 followers and people constantly messaging me, I will having to hire someone that I will trust to be able to talk to these people or in my name or whatever, it will suck. I love being able to talk to people directly and answer people directly. I think it makes people feel more appreciated, even if it's not for the anti aspect of the game. It feels like they are investing themselves and their time and emotionally and whatnot, or in a million different things in this company, and I just want them to feel that, that it's reciprocate. And I feel like if you're a big wig of a big company, at some point, either you can't or you don't want to. And I honestly, sadly, I feel like for the most part, you just don't want to.
And speaking of socials, what are you all on now? You're on YouTube. You're on X. Is there anything else?
Those
Other
are
than
the two
Discord?
big ones. Obviously, Discord has a little bit more tight knit community. We just arrived on Blue Sky. It's been rough to be able to keep my political perceptions out of it. But yeah, we're easing into it.
Yeah, apparently a very political platform.
Oh, I mean, it's what
So,
X was before it was bought by Elon.
do you
We
go
were
about
already. I got banned.
self-promoting for? That's that's gonna happen. Do you actively self-promote on X or Blue Sky?
I mean,
you
we do some
have
work.
Bloodlust and Journey Abroad coming up, but are you like waiting for those to flesh out more?
I feel like word of mouth is the biggest way that you can promote yourself. Obviously, when our first patch, like our first big patch that we can start, sharing, come out, I will talk to all my dev friends and ask them to do a little promotion towards our games, as we have done for most of them, and we have built a little bit of a backing on X. We hope to do the same on Blue Sky. On YouTube, I just use it to communicate with the fans that we already have. Obviously, some people might stumble upon it, and they're just as welcome. I don't want to gatekeep access to our things. But yeah, on X, I actively try to outreach, especially through getting people to retweet our work, or getting other devs to actually promote our stuff. That will be great. But we are actually kind of waiting for the first big version of Bloodlust and the first big version of Journey Abroad to come out, to actually ask him to do this big level of promotion. And then obviously this is linking, because if 10 people point to me, now I also point to 10 people. And you make these connections, and hopefully that's how Intai grows on X. So we'll see. At the time, I'll also see which devs are willing to help others that helped them when they started.
I think the way hentai grows on X is with grok, but that's just me.
Yeah, but if you put something, there's going to be 10 bimbos arriving and saying, "Garak, put me on, baby bikini."
So in a way, you think the product kind of sells itself, because the quality of the product then translates into word of mouth. People talk about it, grows more fans.
I mean, yeah, I have to believe that. I also believe that we are working on products that, due to growth, are just better products than Fleeting Iris is. Also, we are working on products for two completely different crowds. Journey Abroad is going to hit a completely different crowd than Bloodlust does. Bloodlust is kind of like a follow-up for the people that enjoy Fleeting Iris, and Journey Abroad is me just trying to reach a whole new crowd with a whole different style, and hopefully get enough finances that we can support both games and both crowds. But to answer your question more directly, I do 100% believe in the quality of our product, and I do hope that in general, 80% of the work, it's just the game selling itself and people just talking about it. Obviously, initially, there's going to require a lot of advertising and a lot of pushing, but we do believe in the quality of our product, and we do believe that word of mouth will take it where we need to get.
Powerful sentiment. Um, you've talked about developers helping to promote the game in the future, possibly. Um, and I know in the past developers have reached out to you. In fact, a lot of the developers in the series are people that have reached out to you asking questions or that you just know. How often do other developers reach out to you
Oh my god,
with questions or just to talk about things?
multiple times a day. I have, especially there's a few developers that are really close to me, where, um, you know, there's more influence and more work of me in games that you guys love than you guys could ever imagine. And I don't want to be like outing some people. There's a few devs, there's a few Brazilian devs, that obviously, one of the reasons they reached out to me was, hey man, I was a huge fan of Fleeting Iris, and it was crazy that when I found out that you were Portuguese, and obviously they're speaking Portuguese. We speak very similar Portuguese, and
Yeah, because Portuguese is from Brazil.
obviously, yeah, like Spanish is from Venezuela. You know, it's obviously direct associations.
Yeah, true story.
But yeah, people come to me for the all sorts of different things. Sometimes even for like financial questions, like how do you do this and this and this, the things that I hate talking about. But what do you think about this story? What do you think about this character? Can you improve this? Can you create this menu for me? Can you create this map for me? Can you improve this map? What do you think of this story? What will you change here? People just send me the game and say, can you please give me your feedback? And there's a lot of games that got a lot of changes just based on my input on those games. People, for whatever reason, people value my opinion a lot. And even the people that don't come to me on a daily basis asking me for help on their game, there's definitely a lot of devs that I end up meeting or just send me messages on X and whatnot, like, I'm a huge fan of your game. Fleeting Iris is the reason why I started working on my game, etc., etc., etc. And then there's also the people that come, hey man, I really love this about your game. Can I take it?
I'm sure there's also people that say, "Oh, your game's really big. Could you promote mine?" Without ever.
Oh yeah, obviously. I mean, usually what I do is I play the game. If the person is really nice, I'll be like, I mean, you seem like a hardworking guy. I'll do it. Or usually I'll go, hey man, I don't blindly promote games because I don't want to promote like cash grabs. But I will, if you send me a copy, I will definitely give your game a try. And if I see merit there, I will 100% promote your game. And more often than not, I end up doing it.
Now, most developers, I think, kind of develop an inner sanctum, so to speak, of people that they will contact for second opinions on stuff. I know you've sent me things for second opinions. You probably sent them to plenty of other people too. Do you find that your group of people you kind of trust for a second opinion on things is small? Do you kind of reach out to a number of people for input?
It's small-ish. It's like usually there's people that also are, how do I put this? They're the people that kind of like they show the most passion towards the project, and then there's like my closest online friends, and usually I look at the top 10 people on my friends list and whatnot, and I just go, who's online right now? And sometimes I have this no, it is, because sometimes I have this I've this imposter syndrome where I look at stuff and I'm like, it might be amazing, but I might just feel like it's amazing because I'm the one looking at it, and then I show it to someone else and someone is like, it's okay, or it's kind of trash, or it doesn't kind of it doesn't do what you think it's gonna do, and then I feel like shit and I go improve it, and obviously, like, honestly, maybe
or they point out that one thing that you're going to see for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, probably like saying like, there's probably like 5 or 6 people that I do that with. You being one of them, obviously, and then Morgan, because I know Morgan He's the type of person that will always give me feedback on stuff. I've asked Springer for some stuff. The people on my team obviously are the people that I ask, most of the times if they like what I created. But yeah, there's not a lot of people that I run things through, because again, it's not only do you like this, is that do you have any professional intake, like do you have any idea how can I improve it, or when you criticize it, are you surgical with it? Can you say this is what is bad about it? If you're gonna look
Right.
if you're gonna look and you're gonna say, I don't know, something's off. Thanks, I know, that's why I'm here. I'm probably, if you do this to me like 2 or 3 times, I'm probably not gonna go back to you. And obviously, there's a lot of people that were guilty of it. And if I stop messaging you, asking you if something is good or bad, and you now know why it was. But most of the time,
Well, I know. Sometimes you're looking at something and you just feel like something's off. You send it to someone and they don't see it right away, and it's easily something that could be missed.
Yeah, but most of the times you're like, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, or off.
Right.
Like I've looked at people and I'd be like, I don't know what it is about this, but something's off. And literally, people drew a line like, her chest is a straight line. Well, how can you not see it? It looks like a ski ramp slope, bro. And then they go on Photoshop and they literally draw a line, and they're like, the chest is a line. That's
The goddamn Cybertruck in there.
Yes, it looks like Elon designed this. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, of course that's what it is. I've sent shit to Isaac, and Isaac is like, is she a giraffe? What do you mean? Yeah, she's a giraffe. Look at her fucking neck. It's like 10 feet tall, and I'm like, oh my god, yes it is. How did I not see that? And obviously, but usually usually when it's other people's work, I'm good at judging it. When it's my work, it's the thing that I look at it, and it's like, I like it, but I feel like something's missing, and sometimes I run it by people, and people will tell me if it's missing or not.
Right. The blooper reel that no one will ever get to see.
Oh yeah, I love the blooper reel. If people ever got to see that shit, oh my god.
So have you ever, kind of tried to figure out some sort of breakdown of where all your fans are? Have you tried to figure out, okay, are most of my fans or sales, whatever you're using, in the US, or are they in the EU, or are they in China?
Absolutely, I forgot it.
You forgot.
I absolutely forgot it. I see. You know what's sad?
Hey, Heaven Studios fans, we out here.
The sad part is I actually saw that like last week. Listen, I know that when it comes to Steam, our biggest sales are on China by far. China by itself is 60% of the sales.
Right.
40% is the rest of the world. No joke. When it comes to
assuming China didn't exist.
So assuming China didn't exist, I feel like the US is in front, but it's like it's not a massive margin. US is like the biggest number, and then we have split throughout Europe, and obviously Brazil has a lot of sales. But like I said, in Brazil the game costs like $2, so it technically it takes like 10 people buying the game to financially make up for one person in Portugal buying the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you can go by sheer size, you gotta go. Depends
so
on
a
what
way
you want to
sort
find
of
out.
attribute accessibility to that statistic, though, because Kagura translated it to Chinese, so the Chinese have access. The game's primarily in English, so you kind of need to know English to be able to understand it. So is that sort of an accessibility thing, or do you think it's just
Yeah, it will be more
sale
amazing
price?
if when they made the Chinese translation, they didn't fill the game with bugs and make him crash every 5 minutes. That would have been fucking amazing. And we didn't get review bombed on Steam because they fucked up the game. That part will also have been amazing.
The Chinese are great at that. So
Well, I mean, it's not their fault. Literally, Kagura Games fucked up the game to the point where the game crashes every 10 minutes.
no,
So
I mean
honestly
they're
don't
great at
blame them.
review bombing.
Of course, there's so many of them. There's 1.3 billion of them. It doesn't matter if you're upvoting. They're going to come together and destroy you. So that's it. But at the end of the day, like, obviously I want availability. And it really depends on what you want to see, like which part of the world is giving me the most money, or in which part of the world we have the most fans, and both are equally important to us. Because there's something that, okay, imagine this: someone asks you, "Are you going to translate your game to Spanish?" and they're going to be like, "No," and then you suddenly figure out that 80% of your fans come from Spain or Latin America, and you kind of like, oh. Okay, maybe I owe that to them. Maybe I should actually translate my game to Spanish, you know. And when it comes to Brazil, it's like, guys, as much as I love you, like monetarily, considering how big the game is, I'm not gonna translate the game to Portuguese. I am sorry, because if there were more fans and if it was more like financially like justifiable. But the amount of people in Brazil that play the game do not justify the game to being, you know, and because here's the catch: some countries, even if something it's cultural, even if something is like dirt cheap, even if Fleeting Guys costed like $1, they will still pirate it, because the culture of pirating is so associated with some countries and some regions that. Even if you make the game, hey, we'll pay you to play the game. No, don't worry, I'll just pirate it. And it and massive amounts of work towards, you know, translating for that region is literally just, yeah, sure, let me just take a huge financial loss because I'm investing a lot of time into this, and it will never have any return. So obviously, it all at the end of the day, most of the things come down to return on investment. And you know, I can just go out and translate the game in every language that I know. I will, you know, it's work that is not being put into something else. So if it's profitable and it keeps the studio afloat, it's something that needs to be done. But if it's something that you're just doing out of the kindness of your heart, we already do plenty of that.
So what I'm hearing is Chinese translation for a Bloodlust beta release.
Big must.
For the beta, though, right? You know, that's going to be in the next patch.
Maybe, baby. Because honestly, they honestly justify it. It is. I mean, when there's 60% of your player base, you need to kind of like reward it, so to speak.
You need to cater to it and make it accessible. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not like I'm changing the game to cater to them. It's literally just translating the game in a language that 60% of the people that play the game are going to play in it. You know, that makes total sense.
So, what would you say to people just getting into this sort of gaming now, today?
Oh, God,
if they're getting into hentai games today, just don't do it.
Listen,
don't jack off, everybody.
The problem
Stop it.
The problem
Stop
is
what you're doing.
this train is no one knows where this train is headed. No one knows if this train is in its last stop, or if it's just, you know, it's just starting to speed up. But the thing is, already I feel that people like games for the most various reasons, and the line between quality and garbage is already getting diluted. And in the future, when people stop appreciating stuff like drawn art, or when AI is able to emulate drawn art almost to what a human will do, and that power is on the hands of a lot of people, I think it's going to be so hard to actually filter through the garbage to get to the quality content, that the line is going to get more and more and more blurry to where it doesn't even seem that there's a line there, just a fog. And if you're entering now, make sure you enter for the right reasons, because you wanna create games and you're passionate about it. Because if it's for the finances, no one knows what is going to be the outcome. Are you ready to bots? Are you ready to go on regular gaming streams and try to trick streamers into mentioning your game? Are you ready to do the scummiest things in order to sell? Like, are you going to see this as a business? And all of this is like many different approaches to creating games. And obviously some of them might work out and some might not. But if you want to create a game and you're passionate about creating a game and you believe in your game, regardless of the outcome, definitely go into it. If you're going into it expecting this to be a business that's going to make a lot of money in the future, we don't know. Like, currently the world is going through such a shift that we don't know of how everything's going to be in like 2030. We don't know if we're going to have like a crazy unique digital coin. Everything is going to be monitored. We don't know if crazy conservatives are going to be able to ban everything that shows a nipple online. We don't know none of this. It's volatile. It's incredibly volatile. So if you're going to join this for the simple fact of making money, it might be too much of a risk. But if you want to make this for the sake of creating games and living like a legacy, creating something that people can enjoy at the end of a day of work, and being able to put your creativity out there, then 100% start it. But if your goal is making money, this might not be the medium anymore, you know. But every little bit of time that you spend in life doing something you're passionate about is time well spent. Everything else, you know, join this, but understand there's no promises. There's no promised light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's just a fucked up tunnel. Sometimes you run out of gas in the middle. Sometimes the tunnel falls on your head. You know, it's a risk, but you know, you gotta ask yourself if it's a risk that you're willing to take, and if it's something that you're really passionate about. And even if you suck at it, and even if it doesn't become profitable, are you still going to be happy at the end of the day? Are you still going to be like, I did something because I was creative about it and I was passionate about it and I still wanted to put it out? And then if the answer is yes, then 100% start developing, and start today. Like, the biggest step that you can take between starting a game and finishing it, it's just starting. Just get to it. Just start working on the game. Start working on garbage. Work on garbage. Put on garbage. Do stick figures on notepad, on paintbrush, and put it in the game. And you know, just the hardest part is to start. So get started.
I think along with starting, just try not to stop. That's
yeah, because that will demotivate you. Like, honestly, just put a lot of time into it every day, or even if you put a little bit, even if you just say, listen, for at least an hour a day, I'm going to focus only on this, and I'm not going to do anything but this. Honestly, I suggest that you never lose the train, because once you lose the motivational train, sometimes it's hard to pick back up, because it's kind of like the gym. You miss a day, you miss another day, and then suddenly things start looking like a chore.
I skipped leg day.
Yeah, and then you know, you and suddenly start feeling like a chore and whatnot, you know. And if you
never ran again.
Yeah, man, just keep going, just put, like, even if you stop and you fucked up, because then you're gonna be like, man, I'll never catch up to how much work I will have to do between whatever I started in this. Fuck it, you lost that work. Cool, don't lose more work because of the work you already lost. Just take your time, one day at a time, accept your losses, and just keep developing, man. Just keep doing your best. You fucked up, cool, you fucked up. Don't fuck up more in the future because of the fuck up you already fucked up on, you know?
Well, Tell me if you heard this one. Ayame walks into a bar and a guy named Melvin's behind the counter.
That's a cool story. How does it end?
I'm not sure. I think someone gets fucked. It's a lot funnier than it should be.
You know what was a lot funnier than it should have been? Someone asked on Discord, "Hey man, the way you wrote Fujiko, I fucking hate her. Please tell me that there's like a bad.
Oh yes.
Please tell me
Yeah,
that there's a
so-
bad ending for her." And I was just like, "Keep playing, bro. Try different routes. Keep playing." I think you will. I think you'll be happy. And then he said something like, "Oh, wow, that's what you meant by that."
So if you had to recommend a Patreon to someone other than your own, of course, that they should look at from the past year that's been excellent, is there anyone you'd recommend?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you should go check at Fleeting Hearts.
No, because that's not an active page.
Shit. Well,
Someone who is just they're putting out excellent work,
you know what's
even
fucked
if you
up?
don't agree with the content.
You know what's fucked up? As a dev, often what happens is, this is nice, but I would have done it better, or I would have added this or that. For instance, like I thought that Karen's Prison had a lot of potential on the first patch, and I started envisioning a game in my, and I started envisioning a game in my head, and then it was none of that. But yes, obviously there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games that I feel like not only they do great work, but they also even if it's slow, even if it takes 4 months, eventually they deliver, and when they do deliver, it's usually great games. There's a game called by a guy called Octagonala, and the game is called Cybele. 100% I will check that out. There was a game about Sword Art Online that I was following, but now it's all over the place. Like 6 months ago or a year ago, I would 100% recommended it, but that shit is all over the place right now. Same with the game that was called
we could go on to that one about a while.
Yeah, there was a game called What a Legend that I also used to be like, yay man, this game is going to be amazing. And yeah, I think they do that, kids, and from there on out, the patches died. There's a guy called Nenai5 that made a game called Cine Sister, and Cine Sister 2. And if you like Castlevania or Metroidvania style games, and you can deal with a little bit of gore, I think that guy does a lot of great work. Obviously, Siren does the most with Scarlet Ant's art, with the zombie retreats and whatnot. So definitely, I would say check that one out. Obviously, last week
reminds me that I think Scarlet has her own Patreon, doesn't she?
Yeah, 100%. Go check Scarlet. Go check Scarlet Ant. Obviously, it's not games; it's mostly art and whatnot. But definitely go check out Scarlet Ant on Patreon, and definitely go check out Voidbound. The game that we talked about 2 weeks ago on the interview. The game is amazing. Do check it out. They definitely pull. They definitely take RPG Maker to their limits there. They're making great work. And you know, there's not a lot devs that you can say they're working actively on a game and the game is good. Like Radical was working on DV Mary and whatnot, but he had to come to a stop for whatever reason. I guess the last one that I'm probably going to suggest is Laura's Adventure by my friend Arkanu, and I don't know if the game yes, Laura's Island Adventures, and he has another one is Laura's something Adventure. I don't remember the exact name of the game, but it's an NTR game. Sorry, what?
A lot of Laura's.
Yeah, basically they're spin-offs of one another. It's Laura's something Adventure, I think. And it's a game very similar to Fleeting Hours. It drew a lot of inspiration from it. And yeah, it's this Brazilian. I think she's Brazilian, but she's this housewife that basically cheats on her husband a lot. And it's made on DS 3D, but yeah, it did. He's putting a lot of work into it, and he's very passionate about the project. And he also has my friend Michael Cross helping him on the Rampy version. So yeah, that game is one of the games that I will probably back the most. But yeah, if you have to check 3 games, definitely go check out that one, Laura's Adventure by Dark Canoe with the help of Michael Cross. Definitely go check Scarlet Ant's Patreon, and definitely go check Voidbound. All great games, and great projects being worked by great people that are very passionate about what they do, very competent, and they work on it on a very timely manner. So yeah, if you have to go check someone out, check those out. I think not only they make good games, and yeah, even though it's new and it has a lot of anti on it, I'm really digging this new game from Octagonal, the Cybele game. I think he's doing great stuff. So yeah, definitely check that one as well. If you completely hate AI art, maybe don't. But if you can tolerate it, if you can tolerate it because of the game being great, he's definitely doing a great job with the game. With the story and the dialogue and the whole setting of the world and whatnot. I like it a lot, man. It reminds me of good old days Virgin Island. He definitely is able to. You can see that there's a lot of passion in that project, and you can see that he has a lot of attention to detail, and he tries to bring the most out of every little thing. I like it a lot, especially from a developer perspective. I will 100% give my support to this game, and that's it. I think I already support a lot of games.
I am out of written questions because I only had so much time to come up with anything, but I we could bullshit for hours to come, but we're approaching 104 minutes now. There are 2 things I'd like to outro with. The first thing is I would challenge anyone that listens to the podcast to post something on the wrong studio, Heaven Studios Discord, say hello, and I would also challenge anyone to go ahead and become a patron. Give them a little something to Journey Abroad or Bloodlust. A little something, a little bit of this or that.
I love that stupid meme.
But yeah.
But yeah, what he said. Do come and chat. We're nice on Discord. Come and be part of the community. If you ever wanted to be part of something, just discuss something without being judged. Do share something on Discord. You guys don't have to lurk, and yeah, support us because we need it.
I support you.
I know, and I appreciate you so much for that.
I need to support Journey Abroad though. I need some
wait
more
for the
big
first
titty
patch.
milfs. I need big titty milfs. I need them now.
Wait for the first patch. I mean, the first patch is technically out, but the next one is going to have some considerable improvements.
Well, I can't wait anymore. I need that big titty milf in my life.
Me too. I need to get these 2 games out. We're trying. Journey Abroad will come out at the end of the month, and Bloodlust will come out any day now. And that leaves me with the following announcement. There will be some spoilers shared on our Discord, on our general Evan Studios channel. So do check it out once we're done here. I'm going to share more Bloodlust spoilers there to keep you guys entertained while Bloodlust is still not out. But we're doing our best, and the CG team is definitely working really hard right now. I've been following their work on a daily basis, And yeah, we're definitely on the right path to bring the games to speedy releases, so to speak. Yeah, so great. February is going to be great unless something happens to me. Let's hope it doesn't. But yeah, two great games going to come out. I hope you guys enjoy them because we're putting a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of passion into it. I definitely feel like it's been worth it once you guys get your hands on it. But I'm going to leave that assessment to you guys to make. So yeah, we'll see what it's done. Advent, I appreciate you so much.
I'm actually sorry for Morgan. I am patron to Bloodlust, but I'm not to Journey Abroad. I haven't done that yet.
Oh yeah,
and everyone should do the same. Patron to both.
Yeah, Advent has probably been like a Fleeting Artist supporter for and now Bloodlust for like 8 years or something like that. And yeah, Journey Abroad, like I haven't released this a single paid patch in there. So I mean, unless you really want to support us, and again, we really need it. If financially it doesn't cause you any constraint, do help the studio not die. That will be incredibly amazing. Help me pay our supporters. Help me pay our team better. That will also be amazing. But yeah, that's it.
Is there a link to Heaven Studios West on Heaven Studios East?
No, I don't think so. But I can pull it out. I have all our links. Actually, if you go on Google and you just type Heaven Studios West, you probably you get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first link.
There you go, Google. Save the day.
Yeah, and the second, it might be because it's me searching, and the second one is our own website. So yeah, that's yeah, we haven't released anything there, but we have been working really hard on it. I'm gonna put the link on YouTube just in case. There you go. But yeah, you guys, even though we haven't released anything paid yet, everybody knows we've been working really hard on the game. I mean, anyone that has developed the game for 5 minutes knows how much work is already into Journey Abroad. And yeah, Bloodlust is gonna be amazing, man. I'm so happy with the way we started, the way the art looks and whatnot. I'm sure you guys are going to like it a lot. We'll see. Hopefully, this will put the finances in the right path, and I can hire more people and work faster, and yeah, release games more, harder, and stronger.
I just patrons, but I should have gone to Subscribe Star.
You 100% should have went to Subscribe Star. We make less money there, but it's kind of more free, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, we don't need to get into that.
Yeah, Patreon, like
that's a very long conversation.
Subscribe Star doesn't feel like it's gonna like collapse at any moment and turn on the adult content creators. Subscribe Star seems to care a little bit more about the people that actually made it big. So yeah, definitely support us wherever you feel like. If you feel like going for Subscribe Star, we do make a little less money there, but we actually encourage you to go there because it feels like people on the other side do care more about you when you put your money into their pockets. So yeah, Subscribe Star, pretty fucking cool.
The goats.
All right, Advent. I want to appreciate. I want to thank you for doing this interview. I appreciate it a lot. I needed someone to do the interview, and I needed someone that could do it with an equal level of professionalism and at the same time, some fuckery.
For most of the time, but yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, eventually, I will have to do this interview. I was hoping I didn't have to do it this early, but at least it's already out there. Everyone that showed up on chat and everyone that listened to the interview, I appreciate you guys so much for showing up, and everyone that listens to this not live, I appreciate you as well. And hopefully you learned something cool, and maybe it motivates you to create your own games. So yeah, at least now people know a little bit more about the story of Evan Studios, and a little bit more about our decisions, why we went with the publisher that we did, how we formed as a team, and where it all started. I think it's a cool story. Even if you're not a fan of the studio, I still think it's a cool story. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming, and like I said, do check out General on LSU Chronicles Discord once you're done here, because we're going to be sharing some spoilers there. Thank you guys so much for coming. As usual, much health, much love, and much fortune. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace out, and maybe we have a patch in a week or two, hopefully next week. If not, I think 2 weeks is probably enough, and guaranteed at the end of the month with Journey Abroad. I'll see you guys then. At least maybe we have a podcast next week. We'll see. And until then, take care.
Can't see it right now, but I'm doing the Nixon V thing.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's cool. Alright guys, take care. I'm gonna go chat with Evan for a little bit, and I'll see you guys in hopefully Wednesday. We'll see. Take care. And wait a second while I remember how to do this. I think I press here and...
染めているのはなんだ